My name is Randall.
Randall, welcome to the roundtable. What's your question?
My question is, we sold our house in Victoria and moved here about a year ago to be near our amazing grandchild. And we're currently renting a condo. And we're wondering if she should consider perhaps buying one?
Well, what I would say, the most popular downsizer boomer choice is buying a condo. 85%, stats-wise, 85% of people who downsize from a large family home do buy a condo. However, that is not the only option. The other option is exactly what you did. You've moved recently and moved to a new city, to Toronto, and you don't really know where you want to buy yet. So I think a great option is what you've done, and that's something that does come up, is to rent first. Other times people don't want a condo, don't want to rent. They might want a townhome or a semi-detached home. The only thing is, because they still want a garden or a smaller home. But the thing is, you have a lot of steps in a townhouse. And if you look forward 5, 10, 15, 20 years when you're a senior, can you handle, you'll have to move again. And if you have a hip or knee problem, for sure. So those are some of the options. I think you've made a really wise choice in renting first for the 1 year. And then you make a choice if you'd like to buy because you've seen the neighborhood.
And I'd like to share another option with you, Randall, and that's if the possibility if one of your children has a larger backyard space, if they would invite you over to host your own tiny home in their backyard. Because essentially you move to the city to be closer to them, and there's a very big difference in being 6 feet away in the basement or the attic versus being 25 feet away in the backyard, because you're sometimes further than your neighbor. And it creates a great sense of privacy. And just as we noticed this intimate garden that was shared earlier today, that this type of green walls can also be put up to even give the privacy between different parts of the day. And all of that could create an inner garden that gives you the interaction space with your grandkids, your family, have the privacy. If one of the kids wants to practice music and somebody wants to take a nap at the same time on the same property, these aren't conflicting, but really complementary. And it removes the stressful commutes out of your life. And then there's a lot more enjoyment.
Saad, can I just interject? I have to ask, are there any issues with bylaws that you've run into?
Yes, we just presented this to the Minister of Housing, and so he's looking into it. He's well aware of the issue. And what has happened is that the municipalities have been resistant to this because they're really busy building condos. And what has happened is in the state of California, the state came in and mandated that if your municipality is frustrating you, the state would issue you the permit. And things like that are being considered in Massachusetts and New York. And that's something that Ontario has to consider, especially right now since we're about a month away.
Is there any province in Canada that's doing it right?
Vancouver City has allowed this citywide, and Ottawa is our champion here. So if anybody's here in Ottawa and they have a larger backyard, you're legally allowed to build a coach house in your backyard. So we're not asking for anything new. We just want the benefits of Ottawa available to the Torontonians.
And those are temporary structures, or?
No, these are permanent modular constructions. So they would be made off-site, and they would come onto your property in panels, and there'd be only a few weeks of disturbance. And you would have a fully tax-paying, code-following unit in your backyard then.
And the bedrooms can be on the main floor?
In fact, we're focusing on a single floor, fully accessible design. And part of it is not to band-aid with ramps afterwards, but to have it built into the design where the land just gradually comes onto the property, and the kitchen, living room, and everything, and even the bedroom is available on the main floor for later stages of life. And if need be, there could be a second floor, a loft space if required for kids or a caregiver to be supporting there. And simple universal design things like the toilet roll having enough pressure to you to lift off it, and the towel rack just being beautiful as well as to hold on to. So it's not an afterthought, but this was built into the thought of taking care of an older person. As their mobility changes, they can still experience the same things. And the things that they enjoyed in their garden that they might have worked for a long time, they can still access that and still access their social community and the connections they have in their neighborhood.
Okay, well, Randall, thanks so much for your questions. Stay right there. We'll be right back with some final thoughts.